What's going on, guys? It's 6:20 a.m. right now. I just finished up my workout and I really thought that Baskin Robbins might be open, but it's not. So I'm just gonna wait here until it does. Meanwhile, today's video is about something which is just messing up everyone's mind on the face of planet Earth, which is the 2020 United States presidential elections. And so I decided to make a quick video sharing my thoughts on this entire thing and how future implications of this are. So let's get started. So one thing which you guys need to realize is that regardless of wherever you live right now, this topic is something which is affecting everyone, from a person who's living in US to a guy who's residing in Spain to someone like me who's living in India. This thing's results have global implications and can change the shape of humanity, so to speak. Now I'm not trying to bring this topic up and make it much more spicy, but this is the thing, because if you talk about US, a lot of other countries get involved, such as China, North Korea. Those issues are something which might just take another video, so I'm skipping those. My prime focus today is going to be the elections which are being contested right now. So coming on to the candidates which we have, on one side we have Trump, on the other side we have Joe Biden. And the thing is, back in 2016, if you look, when it was Trump versus Hillary Clinton, the things were not so good, because even if the public favor was in Hillary Clinton's side, ultimately Trump won the electoral vote. And I believe something similar like this can happen. And thus, I am not trusting the data of the polls which is given in the news channels daily. Things can be really unexpected, and it can be a very bumpy ride. Thing which you guys need to keep in mind is that back in 2016, when Trump won, a lot of protests did happen. And fast forward now to 2020, I think we all have a pretty good amount of idea that protests have a tendency to go real violent real soon. And that is actually my biggest concern, because if something which does not please the public who is voting right now, then what can be their reaction and how that thing is going to go down. Coming on to my opinion as to which candidate should be elected president, and I'm just going to disclose this now. I believe neither one of them. Now, before you hate on me for not, giving a straightforward answer, hear me out on this. Trump's administration coming on as an opinion from a guy who's an Indian, I don't think the migration laws are going to be in favor of us anytime soon. And not just us, but to many other countries as well, maybe Mexico, some other countries in South America, Europe, India, Asian countries. It's not going to turn in our favor anytime soon, so I would not support Trump at all. The only good thing I can find about him, and that too if I take my perspective as a citizen of the United States, is that he has lowered down taxes for certain big businesses to have some real fast growth. That's the only thing which is there. Other than that, there is no benefit of electing Trump. Coming on to Biden, I have no idea of his administration and how he's going to function, because people can say one thing in the electoral campaign and just go on to do something totally else once they're elected. So I don't want to take that risk with Biden. And another reason is because both of these candidates have not touched one very important topic, that is free medical care for all. Now, coming on from a quote unquote third world country, even we have free medical care. If a country like US, which has the resources and the skill and the human resource which is there, is not offering free medical care to its citizens, like that's just stupidity in its finest form. And many people are going to argue that if you make medical care free, then taxes are going to increase because you need to pay for that medical care. And I have something here, is a list of the United States defense spending. It is more than 750 billion, 10 times of what India is spending, and almost 2.5 times of what China is spending. Even if they cut down 5%, that is $35 billion. You heard me right, billion with a capital B. If they just cut down even 5% of that, if they reduce some amount from the R&D department, it's just going to provide a huge deal of money to provide free medical health care, and that's really not that big of an issue. One more thing which I have learned in 2020 is that you cannot just go and hate somebody because their political views are different than yours, because this is something which is spreading out really fast, more rapid than the coronavirus itself. pun intended, but this has happened a lot, and not just in terms of US elections but in India as well, in almost all the countries now. Because if you're supporting, let's say, the left is opposing the right is opposing the left, if you're supporting one end, and if you encounter an individual who is supporting the other, then this is just something which is a natural instinct of people, that they immediately go and start to hate on that person. And this is extremely negative and extremely not right. I wouldn't say bad, because if people knew the difference between bad and good, they wouldn't be hating someone in the first place. So you just need to give up on that hate. If a person is a good individual, then there's no point in hating him or her because of their political views being different than yours. It's plain stupidity, and you cannot just judge a person from one aspect of his life. It's really arrogant. And it's vice versa the same as well. If you encounter a person whose political views are same, but in real life they are going to be a dick in front of everybody else, and they are going to put everybody else down, then there is no point in liking them. You should just keep your distance and make your distance ASAP. To sum this video out and give a final verdict, I would say that because the United States has a population of around 300 or 350 million people, I believe individuals better than Trump and Biden are present there. And those guys should be given a chance because of all the media reports which are coming out about these two individuals and their performance in the past 4 or 5 years. And if you don't agree with someone on their political views or some other aspect of them, of their life, rather than hating them, the best thing to do is just ask them why. Don't ask in a butter kind of a way, like, "Oh, why would you think like that?" And I know it's a funny imitation, but rather than this, just innocently ask them, okay, so why do you think like that? Once they give their justification, then you can be like, oh, that makes sense. That's why this particular person thinks like that. If they don't have a justification, maybe it's something which has been forced fed in their mind since they were kids. That's also totally acceptable. Like, some people are under that circumstance. There's nothing you can do about it. Rather than giving hate, try to understand somebody else's perspective, and just reduce the spread of hate. We are already facing a spread of COVID-19. I surely hope that we don't face a spread of hate as well. So I decided to wait for half an hour there. The shop didn't open. Anyhow, that is going to wrap the video up here. Normally, I don't do political videos and opinionated videos, because this is such a topic which can incite conflict within a snap. So I try to stay away from those. But I thought that this was a message which is worth sharing with you guys. So I did that. And that is the end. I will see you all in the next one.